Hey guys, welcome back to Amanda's Favorites, where I have new videos every week, usually on Tuesdays and Fridays at noon Central Time. And I share a Zoom call every single month with my patrons and throw up extra personal videos there too, and launch videos there early when I can. If you're interested in checking that out, the link is always down in the description. Today's video is going to be the first of its kind. I have not done a pen video in a very long time, so this is overdue. And I'm going to do my top 5 favorite pens, you guys. I've done a lot of top 5 videos. I usually do them all in the fall. My top 5 weekly planners, top 5 daily planners, goal planners, notebooks and journals, wellness planners. We've done them all, but I've never done a top 5 pens. So we're going to jump right in. I just have some different mediums here to write on. Honestly, my favorite pen usually depends on what I'm writing in, because the paper plus pen combination really does matter, the paper type. So what I've been writing in a lot lately is my Hobonichi cousin, Han. Erin Condren paper. I'm always writing in Erin Condren notebooks, and you guys know I've used Erin Condren planners for so long. Right now, I'm currently in a passion planner, and so I am loving that paper and using pen in that. And Planner Perfect sent me some of their new notebooks, and I am currently testing them out. So I thought we would have some different paper as I talk about the pens, but the first thing we're gonna do, we are gonna have some runner-ups and talk about my favorite highlighters, favorite markers, but we're just gonna jump right in and we're gonna talk about my top 5 favorite pens. Here they are, guys, in no particular order. If you asked me my top 5 favorite pens right now, and I had to narrow it down to 5, which I admit sometimes is hard, I would narrow it down to this. The Pentel Energel. This just happens to be the Kleena version. Kleena is just how the barrel looks. The pen writes the same. So this is a Pentel Energel in an 05. 05 or 07 are my favorite Energels. This is a pen that you can highlight right over on almost all paper. It does not smear easily. It flows very easily, and it feels good in hand. It's been a favorite of mine for years. A new favorite of mine are 2 WRITECH pens. One is this WRITECH 0.5. It is actually called the Aurora Gel Pen. I will have all of these linked down below to Amazon, the ones that are available there, and the ones that are not, I will link on like Jet Pens. But the WRITECH Aurora Gel Pen, this is kind of like a magic pen, I feel like, you guys, that I never knew about. I heard people talking about WRITECH. I don't know why I resisted trying them for so long, because I thought, oh, I have my favorite pens. First of all, it's a silent clicker, which for some reason feels so good and is kind of amazing. The feel of the pen, honestly, is like this matte, soft feel. I think it is my favorite feeling pen right now. And also you can highlight right over it really quickly on almost all paper. The feel of it on paper is just amazing. I've only tried a 0.5 in this, so I cannot attest to anything else. But if I had to name one top favorite pen of right now, it is this one. The WRITECH Aurora Gel Pen, okay? And in this box, I brought this here to show you. They come in all these ombre colors. I love them. Then this is a WRITECH, a different one. This is a Pearly Up Gel pen. Pearly, it doesn't have the same matte feel on the outside, so I don't love the feel as much. It's not a silent clicker, but this cool little clip goes in when you click it. It's pretty cool to make it flat. It still feels good in hand. I don't like it as much as the matte, but this one comes in all different colors and it writes a little bit different. It's maybe a little bit more flowy, a little bit more smooth. So maybe more for like journaling writing, but I actually really like this one in my Hobonichi cousin a lot right now. So, and I am just getting into WRITECH pens, so who knows, I may discover another WRITECH pen that I love even more, because I've only had these for like 3 weeks. So I'm in the very beginning of my honeymoon phase with WRITECH. The next one up, number 4, the Zebra SARASA clip. This one's in an 05. I generally like the SARASA in an 05. It's your good old pen that's like always there for you. It feels good in hand. It has a good clip. You can highlight right over it. This was Molly's favorite pen forever, for like years. And she bought the WRITECH, and she said she might even say this is winning her over. She just got him like a week ago, so she can't say, but this might be winning over her SARASA. So This is a great pen though that they also make like a SARASA dry. You can highlight right over. They make some fun vintage colors. Then last but certainly not least is a Frixion pen. This is an 05 and this is a special Frixion pen that is from Jet Pens that somebody sent me as a gift. And you guys, it is amazing because other Frixion pens in general, if you're getting them off Amazon, yes, this barrel is prettier, but this one is inkier. So I prefer this one, and I always get them in 0.5 because Frixion tends to be not as inky. I love this one off Amazon. I will link it down below. For some reason, it's inkier than this one with the thicker barrel. I don't know why, but you see how I have taped around these clickers because this is what you click up and down to get your pen to come out, but they also jiggle when you write, like make a little noise. And I don't like that. It doesn't feel or sound good to me. So I tape them with some of my Planner Perfect washi tape. So this is what I always used until a sweet friend from my community sent me this off Jet Pens and said it is her favorite Frixion pen. The barrel feels so good in hand, so much better than these. And the ink in these, you can buy the refills from Jet Pens. It is even inkier than this one. So this number one wins as my favorite Frixion pen. I will link it from Jet Pens. Yes, you have to pay a little bit more to get this, but it's kind of a tiny bit weighted. It feels great. It has that little gripper. It's prettier. And this does not jiggle when you write. You don't have to tape it down. So you can pop your pen in and out and not have anything jiggling when you are writing. So I love this Frixion pen. Sometimes you just need an erasable pen. In certain planning instances, I need an erasable pen, although I would always prefer, like I just like the feel of writing with this one and the ink coming out. It is much more satisfying, but sometimes you just need an erasable pen. And this is my favorite Frixion one. So those are my top 5 favorite pens, you guys. In no order: Pentel Energel, the WRITECH Pearly Up Gel Pens, the WRITECH Aurora, and I'm gonna dump them all out, gel pens. There's a special name to this one on Jet Pens, and I will get it. This Frixion pen from Jet Pens and the old standby SARASA. Now, I love a lot of other pens, you guys, but if I had to name my top 5 right now, this is what I would pick. So we're gonna write with them on some paper and talk about each one before we move into just other pens I love and highlighters and Tombows and stuff like that. So let's just go first of all to the back. If you don't know about the paper in Hobonichi, it is a very special paper and nothing really bleeds through it, but everything shows through it. You have to be okay with ghosting if you are writing in Hobonichi. Now, I have not used a Hobonichi in years. I have a lot, though, that I have. I have a whole stack, and I recently made a video of all the Hobonichis I've used and how I've used them. I will link that video down in the description, but I have not used one in years. Tara gifted this one to me this year for 2024, so I knew I had to use it. I thought I was only going to use it for journaling, but when I went on my trip to Utah, which covered from before Christmas till well after New Year's, I don't think we got home till like the 8th. I learned by taking this one planner with me how amazing it is to have just everything in this one little book. So I keep being tempted to move in this for all my planning. I keep using other planners and keep using this kind of for memory keeping or planning alongside of it and basically testing it to see if I can use it as my planner. Now, we will have a planner update coming at the end of Q1, so I will get you updated on where I am because that's not what this video is about. So at the end of March, I will have an update. But I'm going to tell you how each pen kind of feels on Hobonichi compared to how it feels like on Erin Condren or Passion Planner paper. So let's just go to my pen test page and we have the SARASA here. I love the SARASA in here. I've already used it a lot. I used it for the whole first month of memory keeping in here for January. That is the SARASA. They come in these cool vintage colors and the 0.5 seems like a very small 0.5 to me and very manageable to make look good. Even on Hobonichi paper, it feels like you have a lot of control with this pen on Hobonichi paper because as you can see, I'm never trying to write like super neat. And this was the SARASA, and I feel like this month came out very neat here. So that is the SARASA. It flows well, but you can go right over it with your hand or a highlighter, even on the Hobonichi paper. It is wonderful. WRITECH and Hobonichi. I love this on Hobonichi, you guys. It flows, but it's not too flowy. If you know anything, you can't have anything too jelly and too flowy on Hobonichi, too inky, because I feel like my hand gets out of control. This I love on Hobonichi. This Frixion pen I love on Hobonichi too. I've used it to pre-plan some things, and I think it writes very well and can erase really well. Now, yes, erasing on Hobonichi paper, you will make it crinkle up a bit. Like you can tell I erased there for the Frixion and I erased there. You can tell where it crinkles, but that's just the nature of the Frixion pen. The Pentel, I have not even written with this cleaner yet. I wanted to bring one on here with a pretty barrel. And this was from a Jet Pens order actually months ago. But obviously I have enough Pentel Energels in black that I had not even broken into this one. But I love the Cleana barrels. So whenever I was doing an order from there, I was like, well, I don't have this pink Cleana barrel. I should pick it up. But I've used a million Pentel Energels, 0.5s. I think they write very well in here. They're a tiny bit inkier than the WRITECH or the SARASA, a tiny bit more flowy. So I feel like you have to be a little more careful with control, but I still feel like you can use this in the Hobonichi really well. And it's one, like I said, that doesn't smear easily. And this one, the other WRITECH, the Pearl one, it's called Pearly Up Gel. I feel like is more inky and flowy than this WRITECH, but still enough control that I can still control it in here and works really well. So I actually love all of those on the Hobonichi paper, and I have loved all of them on the Passion Planner paper. Passion Planner has amazing 80-pound smooth paper. If you want a paper comparison video, you guys, I have the ultimate paper comparison video where I tore a sheet out of every planner that I had reviewed that year, and I put them side by side so you can see the color and the feel, and we talk about every paper. I will put that paper comparison video down in the notes. But this is such a smooth paper compared to like Erin Condren that's a little toothy, which means it has a little texture to it. It grabs the ink in. But this, I feel like, takes all of these pens so well. And I absolutely love the WRITECH pens in here. Frixion works good in here. All of these pens work well in Passion Planner too. Now, if you know Erin Condren, you know it's a different kind of paper, different than those two. You know, both of those are a smoother paper, even though they're very different. But Erin Condren has a little tooth to it, a little texture. The WRITECH Pearly, I feel like flows really well on here. The WRITECH, I love this WRITECH. This doesn't flow quite as well, but gives me, I feel like, more control. I always love the Pentel Energel on Erin Condren. It's so good to me. I can write neat, or I can like journal and write fast and flowy with it. For years, I used Pentel Energel only on Erin Condren. Something you should know about Pentel Energel, though, is you hear that? The pop at the end will go in and out. And sometimes while you're writing, you feel that. I don't know why over the years, you know, you don't feel it a lot unless you're tipping your pen. But that never bothered me, like the Frixion thing jiggling on the constant. This doesn't jiggle on the constant, but that is something to note. I just feel like this WRITECH pen, it is so tight. It is a quiet click. Nothing moves. The matte, soft feel in your hand is just perfect. This is my favorite pen right now, you guys, without a doubt. But all of these are great. SARASA, you definitely hear the click. SARASA is not my favorite as much on Erin Condren paper because it's not as flowy. And I feel like, you know, with the Erin Condren paper being textured, it just doesn't flow as well on the Erin Condren paper. So SARASA is not my favorite. SARASA also does the same thing at the end, but really it only happens if you're tipping your pen. So it's not a big issue. And then Frixion works great on Erin Condren, and erases great on Erin Condren. We're shaking my whole filming table here, but really well. So all those great on Erin Condren. I just did a Planner Perfect video about these new products, and all these pens I tested on her paper here. This is interesting. This is thinner paper. It's 24-pound journaling weight paper. So it doesn't convert to the same pound weight and GSM that we're used to, but it handles pen really well. It's more of a smooth texture. It's not like her TN notebooks, but we talk about that paper in this Planner Perfect video. It just recently went up, and I will try to remember to link that in the description too, and handles pen really well. And all these pens I loved on her paper. So that's probably why I love all these pens, why they're my top 5, because on this wide range of paper, we have smooth 80-pound paper, we have textured 80-pound paper, we have smooth 24-pound weight, really different paper. We have the Hobonichi Hobonichi Tombow River paper, which is so different, like Bible paper and very smooth, almost on the slick side. But these pens work well on all these papers. And they also dry very quickly. They don't smear. You can highlight over them. And that is probably why I love all of those pens. But let's talk about some runner-up pens, just some other faves that you might, I like a different pen for different papers at different times. When you're journaling, when you're doing different things, I like different pens. So this is a Pentel Energel X. Someone in my Patreon group introduced us to this in one of our monthly Zoom calls. And I think several of us went and ordered it off Jet Pens. I don't think this one's available on Amazon. Like I said, I will link the pens down below that I've talked about here today where I can find them. This one I got off Jet Pens. It is inkier than your Pentel Energels. It's an Energel X. So it's a 0.5, but it is inkier and it flows faster. So it's a tiny bit inkier than its counterpart that's not an X, and it flows a little bit faster. So these pens I find I like for journaling. So when you're wanting to write quick and flowy, now I don't love the look of them as much as, some of my others, but for journaling, the flow of them is really nice, especially the 07s. I tend to like even the inkier pens for journaling where you're just writing quickly and the flow of them. This is an 05. I got them in a couple of different colors because when you're doing a Jet Pens order, you just try to order to get the free shipping, right? Which I think is, I don't know, it's somewhere around the $30 range because you'd rather get more pens than pay for shipping, right? Oh, here's the 07. So yeah. It's very satisfying to write with journaling. I love it on the textured Erin Condren paper or Planner Perfect paper. Anything with a little texture takes this really flowy, inky 07 pen super well. And I love that bright Kelly green color. So that is the Pentel Energel X, kind of a spinoff of the Pentel Energel. And then the Cleanas, the Pentel Energel in the Cleana barrel comes in all different colors, like on Jet Pens and even on Amazon, but you will pay more for these. But like this one has brown ink, which is just kind of fun. Then I would say this is an old standby. You don't need to buy them from Simplified. I just got them because I had points. You can get them on Amazon. The Pilot Precise V5 pens with the top, the clicker ones write a little different. I like the clicker ones too. These are the ones though I grew up with writing in like later high school and college. And to this day, they're a great pen for so many different papers. So these are the Pilot Precise V5s. They are a very inky pen for a 5. This tip just seems to give you a lot of control though. They come in a lot of colors. The ink seems to last a really long time. They've just been around for a long time, like I said, because I remember these same pens being around 20, 25 years ago when I was using them 30 years ago even. So those are all I will link on Amazon. I have them in all different colors. I use them a lot in my scripture study. They are a great pen for that, I feel like. This is a fun new one. These are sign brush pens from WRITECH, also off Amazon. What these have been fun for me, I'll show you. One thing is writing kind of big on my Hobonichi, well, for outlining events, okay? I like how that looks. And it doesn't bleed through. Well, nothing bleeds through the Hobonichi paper, but it doesn't ghost extra bad for being a bright, dark color, but for kind of writing big things that happen that day. If you want something to stand out or an event to stand out on that day. Let's see, I think I did it on the weekly, maybe one. Yes. So these are fun, even if you're not good at brush pens, because I don't have any brush pen training. These are small, like fine, flexible brush pens, and they just work really well. And this box of 12 colors has great, vibrant colors in it. I will link that from Amazon. So these have been fun in my Hobonichi, but they've also been good in my Passion Planner. I have really liked picking a color for the month, like pink for February, of course. And I pick one color to highlight my top priority to-dos and my appointments or big events for the day that I want to make sure stand out. You can see that. I didn't use them here, but that's something that I just recently started. I have enjoyed having those to outline, and I can see I'm going to love changing the color for the month. And I do really like those lists to stand out. I just started that this week, and I like how the top things stand out there. So these have been fun for those 2 uses for me. I think you could find a lot of uses for them in planning. Just the vibrant colors and the way they write do something different than a marker or a highlighter, and I really have enjoyed them. And then, of course, this is the special Hobonichi pen that comes with a Hobonichi order that Tara gifted me this year, but I had one from a past year Hobonichi order, and you can order these off Jet Pens. It just won't be in the cool colors that Hobonichi releases for that year. This is, I believe it's called the Uniball Jetstream. I could be wrong. It's like the Uniball something, and I will link it off Jet Pens. It has the 3 colors, black, red, and blue, and sometimes you just need that. Sometimes you do. I didn't think I did until I got this pen years ago. And it's like a 0.5, I think, but it writes more like a 0.38. It is so good in the Hobonichi because it's not a gel pen. It writes more like a 0.38, even though it's a 0.5. It writes so well on this paper. You have 3 colors at your grasp. It writes well on any paper. I used it in a golden coil for a long time just to have 3 colors at my grasp. It feels good in hand. You can buy refills off Jet Pens, which I have, very affordably. So it's like, I feel like every planner needs this pen because it's a ballpoint. It writes good on every paper. I don't know. Unless you're completely against ballpoints, you can write very neatly because it has a very small tip. You don't have the issues like with gel pens, and these pens have never failed me or messed up. The ones that I've gotten, I've used them over and over for years. This almost made it into my top 5s because I think it's such a good, important pen. I'm going to tell you, if there was one runner up to my top 5, it would probably be this pen. Over the years, this has been a workhorse for me, as in anything that I need a small tip for. This Uniball Signo DX 0.38, it has been great for the tip. The 0.38 tip. I've used it in all my Leuchtturm 5-year journals. I've used it in my Unbound 5-year journal, which I'm still in right now. I use it a lot to write in Leuchtturm and my scripture study journal. And just anytime if you need a small tip like that in journaling to fit things in, I feel like this Uniball, and it flows really well, and it's not too pointy, and it doesn't catch on paper. The Uniball Signo DX, just from Amazon, is a really good pen. Now, this smears more. That's why it's not my top 5. This you have to let dry longer, even though it's not very inky. And this you cannot highlight right over. So that's why I say it's good for very specific tasks. Like my 5-year journals where I want a smaller point, I have always written in with these. In my Leuchtturm and my Unbound and my Leuchtturm scripture journal. So that is just something to know. This one smears, and that's why I didn't make my top 5. But I do love the tip. And a lot of these in here are repeats. I just want to make sure I covered all of them. Just SARASAs in different colors. That's the fun color I used in February. This is an 07 SARASA, okay? It is much inkier, and I do like it for flowing, for like journaling, but probably not for like my daily planning and like Hobonichi, but you can see you can go right over it and it doesn't smear. So I do like the 07 SARASA too, this barrel and everything. I do like those. 05 and 07, as you can tell, are my faves. And then, okay, the last one in here, everyone needs this, a Sharpie Ultrafine Retractable. I use these on all kinds of like washi tape that you can't write on, you know, with the normal pen. I am always picking this up off my desk. The reason why it has Planner Perfect washi is so I can tell the difference from the top of my pen jar on my desk of just the normal Sharpie, you know, with the fatter tip. But I feel like everyone needs this ultra fine tip in a retractable. Like, it just makes it so much easier to use, and mark it with washi to be able to tell it from your other bigger Sharpie retractable. So those are my faves. Now, just a few other things I want to mention. If you ask me my favorite highlighters, they are always mild liners. Yes, I use all different kinds of highlighters. I've really liked some of the Laurel Denise colors this year. I've used them in my study time in the mornings. They work great. I love them, and I love some of her really original colors. colors. I have used Erin Condren highlighters just because I have them, because I've been sent them. So I use them in my study books in the mornings. But if you're going to ask me my very favorite highlighters ever, it's always going to be mild liners. They win over anything else. Actually, I've rarely had mild liners run out. They last me for so long, for years, you guys. I feel like the tips are just the right size with just the right give. They're not too hard of a tip. They're not too soft of a tip. They're the perfect size. The top goes on, just the feel of it. Everything works seamlessly. The secondary end that you can use for a thinner line or to outline something is just so perfect. You cannot go wrong with mild liners. The lighter colors are my favorite for obviously highlighting events. I don't like really dark, harsh colors for doing events, but I do use darker colors for like underlining things or going around things with like this end. I love mild liners. You can't go wrong with them. You can buy a massive pack to get like every color to start with, but I would personally start with just the smaller packs, unless there's a huge sale on the massive pack. A smaller pack with the colors that you think you will use the most, and go into them with starting with that. You can buy these on Amazon, which I will have linked. You can buy them at Target, Walmart, probably every office store. I don't know that they're in Walmart. I haven't looked there, but I'm guessing. They're in so many places now. Tombows last forever too. If you want any big brush pens, I would always say go with the Tombow, because they last forever. Yes, they might be a little more expensive. You can even go into art stores and buy just one color at a time of what you want, but you can buy packs on Amazon of just the color hues that you want. And I would recommend starting with that. I love going over things with these. It's an extra thick line. So even though I don't write with brush pen, like I don't try to write anything because I don't know, I haven't been trained, but even someone who's untrained, you can write pretty well with these. The feel of the brush tip, you guys, I have felt other brush tips, like been sent free pens from companies, and they are nothing like Tombow. Tombow is the best. I never use this into my Tombows, but it's there, and I think it's pretty cool that it's there. I just never happen to utilize this in. But they come in all colors. The light colors are great for highlighting over things. I've highlighted some of my like February dates in my passion planner just to add color up here. They do some things that highlighters don't do. As you can see, like with the date, they're thicker. They can do a 1 over something and not have to be like making it extra dark with all the lines of the highlighter. You can go on like the whole bottom of a page or the top of a page. They do different things. If you want to experiment with Tombows, I would start with a pack of just colors that look appealing to you, that you think you would use to start off with. Each one of their colors are numbered, which I like, because you can definitely tell which colors you have. You don't have to memorize color names. So I love Tombows. And then last but not least are my Erin Condren Dual-tip Markers. These I've had for years. They don't run out either. And I use them all the time for marking things in my planner. Before I got those WRITECH little brush tip pens that I shared with you, because these have become my favorite now. But these come in a lot more colors, although I don't know that Erin Condren's making any more new colors of these. But I do love these to outline like an event. Here's my pen test page in Passion Planner. To outline something like an event or a timed thing, this works really well too. You have the thicker marker end, and then these are called dual tip because you have the thinner, and you can write really well with these. Both ends work really well to me for different things. I use them all the time. I used them all the time to date my Planner Perfects when I was dating the top of my pages. I loved the thicker ends for that. That's what I dated all the top of my Planner Perfect pages with. And I loved all the colors that these come in for that. And they last so long. So those are the Erin Condren Dual-tip Markers. And those will be linked down below too. I do have a $10 off code for Erin Condren. If it is your very first purchase, you can link to that coupon down below and get that sent to you. But only if it's your first Erin Condren purchase. I have an affiliate link for Erin Condren. I have a $5 off for your first purchase of Passion Planner. That is down below. No affiliate link, but the $5 off. And I will link all these things on Amazon. It will be my affiliate links. I am so grateful when you use my affiliate links to purchase anything, because it helps keep this channel going. And for Planner Perfect, I have a 20% off code, Amanda20, but it is a one-time use only. So make sure you load up your cart with everything you want for that one-time use only. You can use it on everything at Planner Perfect but leather. All right, guys, that wraps up my top 5 pens video. This was a lot of fun for me to pull out, to think about, and to chat about. So now I would love to hear your top 5 favorite pens right now down below. Please list them in the comments because you are going to introduce me and others to new favorite pens. And we love pens, don't we? I have loved pens ever since I was a little child. I vividly remember around probably 4th to 6th grade, and probably beyond that, but I remember that age group just really getting into pens. And we didn't have any kind of cool pens like these back then, and we could only like go to Kroger and pick out pens. I remember wanting to do that with my mom, or Target. Kroger was the closest to us, and she would always be grocery shopping there. That's why I say Kroger, because I could almost always get a ride to Kroger. She was going there, at least once a week, but a lot of times more. And so going in and picking out a new pen. They were not as cool as this, but I had a red acrylic pen canister on my desk. I think I had gotten for a Christmas gift. It was like a really big square red acrylic canister, and it was big, and I filled that thing up with pens. Yes, half of them were probably Bic pens, but how I wish I had a picture of that. That's just a memory that stays in my mind forever. And I loved pens then. I loved paper. I loved stickers. I had a sticker book at that time, a really cool sticker book too. So this love goes way back. So share down in the comments your top 5 favorite pens right now. And if 5 is too much stress to come up with, just share your top favorite pen in the comments then. But if you have more than one favorite, I'd love to hear your top 3, your top 5. Share them with all of us so that we can all read them and try out a new pen. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. Take care of yourself so you can take care of others. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.